Hello, you join me from the Monarch's Way on the South Downs, and tonight I'm doing my first ever bivvy.
With England and most of Europe in the grips of a record-breaking heatwave, I thought it would be the perfect time to try out my first bivvy. It seemed like a great way to escape having to try and sleep at home in the heat, and the perfect conditions to ease me into my first sleep under the stars. I don't have a proper bivvy bag yet, so I don't have the kit needed to camp out in windier or rainy or midge-infested conditions, but on a warm, windless night, I knew that the kit I already had would do me just fine. I packed a ground sheet from a tent back home as a layer to lie on, and then had my sleeping mat and sleeping bag to pop on top. You'd think a summer sleeping bag should do me just fine.
I've still brought my 4-season sleeping bag, because just in case. There are so many sheep here. This was the area I'm now. There's quite a few just stands of trees, and I was thinking maybe I would camp under one of those, but there's way too many cows and sheep around, and I don't want to get trampled in the night, and I don't want to have loads of weird noises in the night like I did on my first camp when I camped near sheep. I swear they're doing it on purpose. They look right at me before they bleat and make their weird noises. So the challenge now is just to find somewhere to set up camp before the light goes down. Left it a little bit late, but it'll be fine. I don't actually have my own bivvy bag, so I've just got some tarp that kind of normally goes under a tent, and I've got my mat and my sleeping bag, and I'll just have that. We do have a small tent with us though, so if I decide I need to be in a tent for some reason, I can just hop in, but I'm hoping it won't come to that. I have this really romantic image of me being able to sleep under the stars, and actually at the moment it looks relatively cloudless, so fingers crossed I might have a sleep under the stars tonight, which I've never had but always wanted to do. You can see that is the edge of Arundel Castle there, that little outpost, and beyond is the sea, and this pathway is part of the Monarch's Way, which is a trail across the South Downs. I forget how many kilometres it is, but it's a multi-day through hike in any case. Still trying to look for somewhere good to base ourselves. I don't know, between having the sheep around and then just trying to find somewhere that's a bit hidden away, because since I'm still new to wild camping, I do want to be pretty hidden, which you should be anyway, because you don't want anyone to be able to see you, especially where it's not technically legal. It's kind of the idea, but all the places I kind of had in mind, they're not looking particularly flat. The light is fading quite a lot now, so I'll just have to settle somewhere in a bit.
It was lovely to see the new round of wildflowers coming into flower. Ragwort is a staple at the moment, a beautiful yellow flower that often gets a bad rep as it's toxic to horses and cows. When I was little, my grandpa tried to teach me it every time I went to visit him, but it's only in adulthood that the idea has finally stuck. He's no longer with us now, but it always reminds me of him and makes me smile at the memory when I see it.
Mountains have an amazing awe to them, but the South Downs have a real quiet, understated beauty about them. Beautiful rolling hills and pastoral colours. They're really gorgeous. What's the phrase? Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Look at that red sky.
Hello, Mr. B.
we switched camps. I have restless camp syndrome, always wanting the best one, but we've settled. It's still quite uneven slope. We found a little depression where we can get in, and it's got better views. Lovely. It's a bit dark now to show you, but really beautiful. I can hear owls now as well. It's getting cooler now, but hopefully it'll still be fine. It's still cloudless, so I'll probably just say goodbye now and enjoy the rest of the evening. Fingers crossed for some stars and a good night's sleep, and I'll see you in the morning.
I was in my sleeping bag by 10, but I wasn't asleep until 1 a.m, as I couldn't pull myself away from staring at the sky, watching as one by one the stars came out to play and waiting to see just one more meteorite burning up in our atmosphere before sleep. It was a full moon that night too, and it was burning a brilliant blood orange.
That's where we bivvied, just in there. There's 2 red kites. No. 3, no. There's 4. There's 4. Wow, amazing. I'll put up on screen how many breeding pairs there used to be, because I can't remember, but they got down to less than 100 breeding pairs in England not so long ago. You know, they were about to go extinct here. And we launched an amazing conservation programme. It's one of the biggest successes this country has ever seen, because their numbers are absolutely soaring now, just like the way they fly. And yeah, they're not a rare sight anymore, they're common. In fact, we've got so many individuals that we are shipping them off to places like Spain to kickstart their recovery programmes, which is incredible, because normally we're the country that is taking animals from other countries to try and kickstart our own populations. But in this instance, with the red kites, we're the ones helping out others, because we've done good in our own garden. So you may not have been able to tell properly, because it was dark by the time we'd kind of settled. I'm not sure how many shots I got of the place where we tried to bivvy, but we moved in the middle of the night about 1 a.m. We called it quits, because yeah, we thought it was just a minor slope, but it wasn't. And it turns out even if it's just a minor slope, it's just not worth it. You know, all the blood was rushing to our feet, and we just couldn't get comfy and sleep. I'd seen a little flat site under a tree as we came up the hill, so we migrated to there in the middle of the night. So before that, I didn't get much sleep. Actually, that was fine, because I didn't want to sleep. I was kind of just staring at the stars and didn't want to close my eyes, so that was fine. So this is where we had started to camp. You can actually see it's a bit flattened down, unfortunately, but that's where we were, so that we had this lovely view, and then we had the sky above us. So this should have been the view waking up, but to be honest, I loved our view of the leaves through the trees. That was equally as lovely. So the rookie camping areas, they're coming in thick and fast at the moment. Don't sleep on sloping ground. You would have thought that would be a given, but we tried it anyway, and we won't be trying it again. Best way to learn. Best way to learn.
Did you ever as a child just to like lay on the ground and look behind you upside down and just marvel and be weirded out by an upside down world? I haven't done it in ages, but man, this slope is really weird upside down.
I spent a good couple of hours on that slope once I woke, soaking in the quiet and still of the morning, just listening to the birds and staring at the bees and beetles on the wildflowers. If I'd woken up at home that morning, I would have already started doing a million different tasks. I can't rest easy when there are things to be done, and I can always think of things to be done. But on the hills, I felt completely at ease. There's something about being outside that steals the body and mind, and suddenly it felt like the only appropriate thing to be doing in that moment was absolutely nothing at all. I don't take enough time in my life to do nothing. I suspect the same might be true for you too. We live in a world that tells us if we're not doing something all the time, we are lazy and unproductive. But it's so blissful whenever I do take time to be still. I think we should do it more often.
Oh look, a kestrel. That's 3 birds of prey in one morning. Buzzards, red kites, and now a kestrel. That's pretty much all the birds of prey I'd be likely to see around here. So, tick them all off. Not a bad morning. Well, I am well and truly hooked. Just a week on from my first wild camp, and I've now done 3, and that was my first ever bivvy. And amazing. I know I got really lucky with the weather, so it's probably a bit of a different story in wind or colder, but in conditions like this, I think for me, I just want to bivvy out. That was just incredible. We're just heading down into Arundel now for a spot of breakfast. We've already had breakfast bars, but you know, we take our inspiration from the hobbits, and it's second breakfast for us. Lovely way to round off such an amazing evening. I feel like on a high, but also just so mellow and relaxed. Yeah. But I'm hooked on this now, so if you continue to watch my videos, then I think we'll be going on a lot more wild camping together. Thank you so much for watching and all the supports and all the amazing comments, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.